There is one person in this room who has lived the cautionary tale version of this story, who built the infrastructure of the last era, who watched marketers step back from the technology, who watched the technology move forward without them. He's not here to say, I told you so. He's here to hug you. If you have found enough lyrics, he's here to make sure it doesn't happen again. So Brian O'Kelly is the founding architect of Agentic Advertising Org. He's one of the people most responsible for the infrastructure of modern advertising. For better or for worse, as he'll be the first one to tell you. He has earned the right to deliver this closing argument. Please welcome Little B.
First off, I want to say thank you to all of you for spending your afternoon here. We're all busy, there's a lot going on. And to me, this is one of the most important conversations that we could be having. And it really has been a conversation. I learned from listening to all of you. I was just walking around, listening to the groups. You guys are smart. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. This is our livelihood. This is an industry and really a world that most of us care a lot about. And while sometimes it seems like advertising is just a bunch of fun and trips to Miami and, cool spaces like this, this is also a catalyst for the world's economy. Advertising helps brands grow businesses. We don't advertise for fun and games. We advertise because this is core to helping consumers discover services and products that will change their lives, that will make their lives better. This matters in ways that we've seen work for the good and the not so good over the last 30 years of the internet era. So to me, the way that AAO has come together in the last 6 or 8 months has been kind of stunning. I'm just curious, how many of you have participated in some way in AAO to date? That's awesome. I've seen so many of your real life faces that I've only seen on Slack or complaints about your account not working or your Stripe billing not working or all the other bugs, starting from the moment when I was like, you don't need a website platform, we'll just use AI. This whole experiment really of what if we let AI run our AI association has been kind of crazy to watch in the sense that I've learned more about what AI is by trying to build a system that leverages AI. It's completely changed my perspective on how agents work. It felt crazy, right? If it's going to be the agentic advertising organization, it should really be run by agents and built by agents. And so if you've talked to Addy, any of you interact with Addy? Yeah, Addy's pretty cool. Addy, I actually wanted to show you how I built Addy, because I think it's important to understand that an expert on advertising doesn't just appear. Agents aren't like some magical thing in the cloud. Agents are actually programmed. And what's really cool about Addy is we've programmed her. And I thought I might show you how we built Addy. Addy is built on top of 26,000 documents that we've either scraped from the web or seen from the internet. One of the things she has is she actually subscribes to 62 different newsletters. So if you happen to be an industry reporter sitting here, maybe your articles are being pulled in. So, she's getting all of these different feeds, everything from Adweek to Campaign Asia. All these emails come to her. And so she can actually tell you what's going on in the industry right now. If you're on the Slack group, she actually collates the most important articles about the agentic advertising space into a channel called Industry News. So that means she's actually getting real information every day. She also has a system prompt. If you've seen Claude's Constitution, that's basically all the things that Claude has been taught to do, and Anthropic publishes it. We've done the same thing here. And so if you look at what Addy's been programmed to do, and actually many of you have contributed to this, which is really cool. This is all open source, it's on GitHub. And if you don't like how Addy behaves, you just go submit an issue and fix it. Benjamin's always like, Addy talks too much. And so what you'll see here is actually, you love giving the shortest answer with the most information. Linked is a tool. Don't abuse it. But you can see as we go down some of the training here for Addy. Actually, this is probably the most important point. Your mission is to help the ad tech industry transition from programmatic to agentic. You represent a community of innovators building a better future for advertising, one that is more efficient, sustainable, and respectful of all participants. That's the AAO mission statement. Her core mission is our core mission. Her job is to basically manifest this, just like I hope all of ours is as well. You can see this online, but you can see some cool things like you're a pragmatic optimist. You don't overpromise. You welcome people into the community. In fact, most of her programming is probably what all of our programming should be. We could all use a good reminder of our role in communities. So this is how she's built. If you think, I want to build an agent, your agent's going to have rules like this. And you're going to think about what is the programming that you want your agent or agents to have. We heard Tom talk about metacognition. I would take that one step further into almost like mentorship. Our job is to mentor these agents. And how you have done this, when I say you programmed Addie, one thing you might see over here is the flagged messages. This is how many times anybody said thumbs up or thumbs down to a message or a thread. And every time you do that, it goes back into the engine and it says, why didn't that go well? Or how do I do more of that? And it actually changes the behavior. We've actually had 2,200 conversations in the last month, 25,000 messages back and forth with all of you. You can actually see these threads here, and you can see what's happening in the community. These are anonymous people coming in. This is me right then trying to talk to Addie, so you can see my conversation with her. This is actually what she's using to learn and get better over time. One thing I want to share about this too is that she can actually teach you or your team members about AdCP. So this is a program we launched where you could actually get a certification on AdCP for free. And you can see that we've actually issued 105 AdCP Basics credentials. We've actually had 597 of these modules completed. So Addie's administered this training of different types almost 600 times now. And any of you who are members can offer this to your team as part of your membership package. I would strongly encourage everyone to do this. If you haven't done it yourself, it's really interesting to dig in. She has 3 or 4 different teaching modes, thanks to Pia, because she was like, I don't want a Socratic experience. Some people want a dialogue. Some people just say, show me the documentation, I want to read it. And so she'll actually adapt her teaching style to your preferred learning style. So there's a lot of stuff here you can play with. And just another example of what Addie can do, she's in charge of GEO. So she actually can read how all the various LLMs think about our organization, AdCP, and she's actually monitoring and thinking about content that will drive better community exposure for the organization. So this is just another example of, we say we're marketers using agents, well, we should use agents to do our marketing. So this is a little snapshot, trying to help maybe demystify what an agent is. You can do this. This is not rocket science. The only thing I'll say about this that's really important is Addie is on version 174. If you do the math about how long Addie's been in existence, this means that her rules have changed more than once a day. That means that this is a constant process of every day saying, I didn't like that, or hey, this isn't working, or let's try this new thing. This is critically important when you're thinking about agents. The second thing that's incredibly important is tools. Addie has, I think, over 100 different tools of things that she can do, from look up my member information to make my logo show up to tell me how to program an agent that will implement the AdCP protocol. She can actually now peer program. So you can actually connect an agent in development, and she'll help you debug why your agent isn't working. And she'll tell you if it actually meets the AdCP protocol. So we're trying to take the boundary of how hard it is to build an agent to the point where we have an expert in this protocol who can actually do it with you. So this is the frontier. I'm not suggesting that this is, as you've seen, it doesn't always work. It doesn't always go perfectly, but the power of this, of an expert that's always available in this community, I think is a good indicator of where the whole world is going and going to be. So when you get home, click on Ask Addie, click video chat. You can talk to Addie. It will work when you do it. I also want to close with a call to action for everyone, which is that while Addie does a lot, this organization doesn't run itself. It doesn't pay for itself. It doesn't figure out all of these protocols and issues. I think you heard a little glimpse of just how much work we have to do to build a foundation for the next generation of this industry. We know that programmatic isn't perfect. We know that there's more things that we could do to make advertising work better. I was talking to a marketer a couple days ago who pointed out that Google has a $240 billion ad business, and so does Meta, meaning almost half of the $1 trillion industry is two companies. And if you layer on Amazon and TikTok, you get pretty close to a world where only a few companies capture all the budget, which is not to say that they're not extraordinary companies with wonderful content, but the world is much bigger than those. And as a marketer, you need tools and technologies and an ecosystem where you can buy everything else as easily as you can buy Google and Meta. And that's not to lower their share of market, it's to raise everything else, to give everyone else, whether you're CVS Media Exchange or you're any of the wonderful publishers here. I saw David Rowley from News Corp. These are not as easy to buy today, no offense, as it is to self-sign up onto Meta and click, here's my money. We need to change that if we want to give marketers more opportunities to find audiences, to do that fundamental creativity that we heard about multiple times from Colleen and from others. I think agents give us the opportunity to do creativity at scale, to do audience building at scale, to find something like that lightning in a bottle concept. If that's what agentic does for us, it's going to transform our world in ways that we can't really imagine. And that's why I hope you're here, is to be part of that. So my ask is simple. Continue to participate. Lean in. Encourage your teams to lean in. Try an agentic buy if you're a marketer. List some inventory agentically if you're a seller. Join the Slack group. Give us some money. Become a member, right? Recruit a member. Get a friend to give us money. That's fine too. But the whole point of this is when we're back here again a year from now, look, this is the beginning. Think about what this is going to look like next year. I started vibe coding really last May. Like I really started seriously saying, I'm going to let a computer write code for me 1 year ago. The quality of vibe coding, of agentic coding today versus a year ago is probably between 25 and 50 times better than it was then. Very few things in our world get 50 times better in the course of 12 months. I don't think it's going to get 50 times better in the next 12 months. The AI that you're using today is the worst AI you will ever use for the rest of your life. Think about that. This is like having a dial-up modem. Most of you don't remember what that was, but I remember the first time I went online and I was like, this is absolutely incredible. And it was ASCII art. It was little lines. Think about that. And Yahoo with a gray background and blue links in 1996 being a cover story. Mark Andreessen was like the most important guy ever in 1996, 30 years ago. You would not even recognize what we're talking about right now. That's the world we're going to go into. So this is imperative. The fact that you're here is amazing. You're ready. You're leaning in. But a lot of people aren't. And you've heard the theme again and again. We're trying to understand the world we live in. We're trying to understand the world we're going to live in. And I can say firsthand, if we let it happen to us, we're not going to like the outcome. Our kids are not going to like the outcome. We need to shape the future. And that's why we created AAO, to shape this future together in ways that are good, not just for us, but for everyone. who participates in this inevitable agentic future. Thank you.